Tunachoomba ni kwamba tuangalie sana kwa makini, hususan chapter 6 yetu katika constitution yetu ya Kenya ambao inazungumzia maadili. Tuna watoto ambao wanatazama runinga zetu na kusikiza redio zetu na vile vile kupitia katika mitandao tofauti ambao wakiona mifano kama ile kutoka kwa afisi kubwa sana katika nchi hii, tunapata mifano michafu sana ambao tunaambukiza watoto wetu. Kwa hiyo hatujapata mfano mzuri sana tangu jana hadi leo ambao ni matusi machafu, hayafai katika mtu yote, hususan katika uongozi wa nchi hii. Ni hayo ambao naweza sema kwamba jamani, sote wa Kenya tuna jukumu ya kuzingatia chapter 6 katika katiba yetu ya Kenya.
My name is Sheila Masinde from Transparency International Kenya, and I'll speak to the concerns and importance of the need for respect and honor to the office of the presidency, and also part of our call for action. Respect and give honor to the office of the presidency. The conduct that continues to degrade the presidency is appalling. An institution and symbol of national unity that belongs to all Kenyans, as espoused in Article 131 of the 2010 Constitution. Article 73 of the Constitution is unambiguous. Authority assigned to a state officer is a public trust. It must bring honor to the nation and dignity to the office. It vests in the office the responsibility to serve the people and not the power to rule them. We therefore demand that the President and all political leaders exercise language, conduct, and leadership worthy of the offices they hold. Chapter 6 is not merely an ornamental chapter of the Constitution, but a guiding light for our leaders on their conduct in their political offices. The presidency is not a personal platform. It is a constitutional trust. Kenyans require political hygiene from the top and across all political actors. Our collective call to action. We start with Parliament. Article 94 vests legislative authority in Parliament on behalf of the people, not the executive, not party whips. We therefore demand that Parliament defends its independence without apology, rejects all legislation pushed through without genuine public participation, pass campaign finance reform before 2027, and exercise their oversight mandate with courage, hold the executive to account on every shilling of public money spent as espoused under Article 201 of the Constitution. To the President and the Executive, we demand that they conduct themselves with the dignity that Chapter 6 requires. End executive interference in independent institutions, cease any support, any direct or tacit support for groups fomenting regional instability, redirect the nation's resources towards health, education and youth opportunity and other pressing priorities for Kenyans. The State House budget cannot expand while hospitals collapse and classrooms overflow. To the security agencies and the police, the Constitution does not grant you the power to silence citizens. It commands that you protect them. We therefore demand an immediate end to all abductions, illegal deportations, surveillance and intimidation of civic leaders and ordinary Kenyans. We demand a stop to the interference of places of worship. Their lawful mandate is to protect the right to assemble, speak and participate, not to distinguish it. You answer to the Constitution, not to political instructions.
Amkeni wa Kenya, wakati ni sasa. My name is Kawive Wambua. I'll read a part of it. That Kenya's formal democratic structures seem intact, but their substance is eroding under the weight of institutional capture, declining public trust, economic hardship and a shrinking civic space. The June 2024 and 2025 Gen Z protests were not just a protest. They were a verdict on broken promises, a verdict on unmet expectation, and a vast gap that exists between citizens and those who lead them. That verdict by the Gen Zs demands a response, not just episodic protest, but sustained, organized democratic renewal. The increasing crackdown on civic freedoms is deeply concerning, and it has affected both civic leaders and ordinary citizens. These actions include abductions, illegal deportations, surveillance, intimidation, interference with places of worship, and the spread of digital misinformation, including AI-generated content. Civic space must, of necessity, encompass every Kenyan's right to speak freely, to assemble, to participate in public life, and to hold those in power accountable without fear of retaliation. We demand for the immediate cessation of all actions that restrict these freedoms, these fundamental freedoms, and urge the protection of civic leaders, human rights defenders, and citizens who are actively engaged in public life and democratic processes.
Article 201 of the Constitution emphasizes the need for openness, accountability, and public participation in managing public finance, principles that the Controller of Budget and the Auditor General are tasked with upholding. Therefore, any fund established must be in conformity with established constitutional guidelines. Public funds are a shared resource belonging to all Kenyans, and we demand a commitment to full transparency through their management, disbursement, and accounting processes to ensure that these funds are utilized effectively for the benefit of all citizens. Maisha ni mbaya. Kenya's education and health systems are under significant strain. Persistent capitation challenges, overcrowded classrooms, and under-resourced hospitals continue to undermine service delivery. At the same time, a growing number of young people face unemployment and deepening disillusionment. The recent flood-related deaths have further exposed gaps in disaster preparedness. Yet, even as these pressures mount, the State House budget is being increased in ways that have raised serious concerns about priorities and accountability. Article 43 of the Constitution guarantees that every Kenyan has the right to the highest attainable standard of health and the right to education. Article 55 places a specific duty on the state to ensure youth have access to this education, to employment, and to civic participation. These rights are justifiable and enforceable, and they are being denied. So we call for urgent, target investment in human development. We demand for the full inclusion of women, youth, persons with disabilities, and all marginalized communities in every space of governance and decision-making. The cost of inaction is a lost generation, and that is a cost that no nation can afford.